Hey everybody, welcome back to another live toast with Historical Light. Happy to have everybody back and hope you guys have been doing well. I know this last week has been quite crazy across our coastal parts of the nation, especially with our southern states getting hit quite hard, and obviously up back east as well. And looks like they got kind of hit with a double dose with the flooding and crazy tornado up there. So I hope everybody's been doing well. If you're in that area, let us know in the comments if you were affected and how things are going now. But we appreciate everybody coming back. If you've seen this before, Historical Light, obviously we do the history podcast, and we started coming on here when the pandemic started, doing nightly toasts for quite a while. Then we moved these over to first Fridays of every month. We come on here, do a little chat, share some history, and then jump in at the end with a 9 o'clock toast. So everybody, let me know how you're doing and what you're toasting with this evening. Let me see here. We're trying actually a new software. So trying to get the feel for it and make sure everything's working right. Hopefully everything is popping up. Does look like we got some people joining in now. We got Brother Brad Drew. He's supposed to be on vacation down in Florida. Appreciate you being here, brother. Brother Rutin's here with us as well. What are you guys toasting with this evening? So for me, I just went to the pantry real quick, and I noticed I still got to knock off the rest of this banker's note, or bank note, I guess. So we're going to be using that this evening and bust through the end of that. And then hopefully we'll go get a new bottle of something here and have that to share with you maybe next First Friday. So for sharing this evening, I was looking for a little bit of history, and some of you guys know with the privilege of what I have to do for the Lodge research, we get to drive around the state quite a lot and save history, save a lot of records. And one of the most recent ones we did, it was Adams Lodge, and I'm struggling for the number to come to mind. But it's about 3 hours away from here. And the lodge is actually already closed down, merged into another, and the lodge is still there. And from what I was told, the Historical Society has actually purchased that building, and they got something in the plans to preserve it. They really like the Masonic aspect, so they left the past master photos on the wall and stuff, and they want to preserve those in some manner. But they called me out there to be able to recover their records, get those digitized and into our grand archive for all of our brothers in the lodge research to have the ability to jump in and do some digital research on. But I thought was really, really neat. I think a lot of other guys probably wouldn't share that same affinity with me, but this place was totally stuck in time. And I don't know, let me know in the comments if you've had the opportunity to visit Adams Lodge. 60 something, that is going to bug me, the number of that lodge, but really cool. It does not look as big as it is from the outside. I think a lot of buildings kind of have that issue going on, but really, really huge. It blew me away. So they got the main stairway. You go up, they've got kind of a lobby deal and what I thought was their kitchen. And then you go into the lodge room, which much bigger than my lodge room. Really cool. They still had the original gas chandeliers and the crank for the lights over on the wall. But everything's been turned off, no electricity. So we are actually going through there. Brother Staley just helped me out. Lodge 68, Adams 68. But we were going through there with flashlights and checking everything out, looking for the records. We were able to recover the lodge minutes, so we're working on getting those digitized and preserved. But while we were looking around, a couple of the things we found was sadly over in the east, just due to the wear and tear of the building, the ceiling over the east has actually started caving in. Sad to see, but one neat aspect of that, and I believe I shared a picture of this the day after, they thought it was the original tin ceiling. Looks like it. Most of it's still in immaculate shape, except for that one area is falling down. Well, when you shine your flashlight up there, we saw that what we thought was the original tin ceiling was actually an overlay. is really neat. So underneath this overlay, they just hammered in strips of wood and put on this new tin ceiling. Underneath it was the original tin ceiling, and you could actually see how they had bordering it was hand painted leaves of acacia going around. So we thought that was super cool. A little bit of history that been covered up for who knows how many years. We were able to preserve the ship shelf over at the Junior Deacon Station. There's a shelf that holds a ship for symbolic reasons. But in my lodge, we didn't have one. So the brother that took me on a tour of the lodge, he actually pulled that down for us, and we put that up in Gardner Lodge and got a nice little ship for it. So we're kind of bringing the history of Adams Lodge into the modern day by preserving that ship shelf right here in Gardner. And I thought that was a pretty neat aspect as well. But we did get the documents. We got the charter back, the seal, all that's going to the Grand Lodge to be preserved and archived. Got all the minutes. And I got in touch with a few people because when we got to the attic of this place, it was kind of a half-finished attic, still had all the York Rite cabinets going around. There was a lot of stuff up there, more than my wife would have let me pack into the back of my car. But tons and tons and tons of commandery minutes and records. There was even some regalia stuff up there as well still. So some stuff that I would love to see preserved, but it was probably a good trailer full of knickknacks that I just didn't have the room for. So hopefully someone else under that scope can go out there and preserve the rest of that history. But during our trip, our main goal was to get, Blue Lodge history preserved into the Grand Lodge archive of it. So that's what we were going for. And that's just what we're going to do. Let me see here at our comments. We've got Brother Michael Brewer joining in with us, and I know he's down there as well. He said, all is well here in North Bama. Just some wind and lots of rain from Ida earlier this week. Glad to hear you're doing well, brother. Got Brother Robert Adams with us. Stale Hospital coffee. Cheers, brother. I was thinking about it because I actually I had to take my daughter to a before school thing this morning, and I missed my coffee. And I was complaining to some of my brothers today. I was struggling through work, and I was thinking about actually toasting with some Nespresso this evening, but I just screw my whole night up and then won't get any sleep. Got my wife with us here, of course. Yvette Powers in here. She's the one always sharing it out for us. Very much appreciate your labors, keeping the show going and getting us publicized out through the various groups. Brother Robert Shively is with us this evening as well from the KMF. Good to see you, brother. Brother Mark Mock, Mark Reeder, Sean Mullen. Great to see you, brothers. Let me know what you're toasting with this evening. So one thing I grabbed, besides sharing that short story, got a few minutes here before we actually jump into our toast. And actually, two things I want to touch on. I know tomorrow, sadly, not going to be able to make it. I was really, really hoping to fit into the schedule. But they are doing another edition of the annual Oak Tree Degree here in Kansas. And I've always been really just curious about it. It seems like such a cool thing. And I know there's some neat history behind it that we've touched briefly on before. But I would love to get a brother from that lodge that will come on here and tell us a little bit about the history and kind of how that has transpired into what it is today. But if any of you guys are in the area, I'm struggling with what town it's in now. Let me try to pull it up. But it's over mid-Kansas, and it will be going on tomorrow evening. Give me one moment here. I just saw the listing for it just briefly ago. Looks like it's tomorrow at 6 o'clock, the Masonic Old Oak Tree Park in Lyons, Kansas. So if any of you guys are out there and have the opportunity, the time of day to get over there, I definitely suggest you go check it out. Let me know how it goes, and hopefully next year I can be with you guys and partake in that as well. So one thing I pulled off the shelf today, I thought it was kind of neat. I was doing a little bit of reading. I'm always diving into random historical crap. And Brother Robert Shively said this is actually going to be the 47th year for the Old Oak Tree degree. That's pretty cool. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that tidbit, brother. But I'm always looking for random bits of history, and it's just what I do, right? Stuff to post and whatnot. And I pulled out this book that we actually, this is the one we did early on in the lives. Most Worshipful Kellerman sent it to me, and we actually opened it live. And I got like deathly ill the next day because of the black mold that was on it. It's been properly dusted off since then, so hopefully I'm not wheezing and gagging here. But I was reading through this, and this is essentially given the history of the Grand Lodge. They sent these out for the anniversary at the time, had them all nice and wrapped. And the reason they gave them out for us is they were down in the basement of the Grand Lodge for years and years and years, and they had a whole bunch of extra ones. So I was lucky enough, I believe it was during Most Worshipful Kellerman's year, they held a secret midnight meeting. And anyone that showed up to that meeting got a complimentary copy of this book. And the reason Kellerman sent me his is because, well, both of us thought the history was too good to be true there. These books were just fantastically still wrapped in the paper and twine, and I'd never opened it. So I had really no idea what was in there. I couldn't bring myself to open it. But we did, and I got it digitized. Need to send it back to Kellerman. I will get that done. But I'm reading through here a little bit of the history about Wyandotte Lodge number 3, which is the oldest lodge in the state of Kansas. Guys that aren't from Kansas always ask, well, why number 3 if it's the oldest lodge? And, well, there's a story behind that. I'm going to let you dig in. But there's a little bit on here where they actually got slightly in trouble for using that number 3 before they had permission. So we see in here, Wyandotte Lodge number 3, first communication under dispensation. The resident master Masons in Wyandotte, Kansas territory met at the Hall of the Sons of Temperance. Their first communication under the Charter of Missouri was under the name of Kansas Lodge number 153 under dispensation, April 27th, 1855. This record, however, is in error for the reason that the charter was not issued by the Grand Lodge of Missouri to Kansas as Kansas Lodge number 153 until May 30th of 1855. The next communication was held July 27th of 1855 under the name of Kansas Lodge number 153, which was the first communication held after this issuance of the charter by the Grand Lodge of Missouri. The recording of the name and number of this lodge as Kansas Lodge number 3 and as authorized under the charter by the Grand Lodge of Kansas, March 17, 1856, seems to have been first made at a stated communication on February 15th of 1856, when the action was taken relative to ratifying the proceedings of the convention held in Leavenworth on December 27th of 55, at which this lodge was not represented. The number of this lodge was shown in the minutes on February 15th and March 13th of 56, seems to have been recorded as lodge number 3, but subsequently changed to number 153. The minutes, however, of the stated communication on March 14th plainly record the name as Kansas Lodge number 3. The beginning of these minutes as follows: Kansas Lodge number 3, 5856, at the regular communication, March 14th, 5856, present. At the time of holding the communication on February 15th and March 13th, the lodge apparently assumed that having ratified the action of the convention in Leavenworth on December 27th, they were then working under the authority of the newly organized Grand Lodge and recorded the minutes under the name of Kansas Lodge number 3. It seems, however, that at that special communication on March 13th, the lodge was visited by a district deputy Grand Master of Missouri, who, according to the minutes of that communication, examined the records and declared that the actions on October 12th of 55 and the installation of their officers was illegal. And he proceeded under the virtue and the authority granted to him to legalize the proceedings under its charter, being that of Missouri, and reinstalled the officers. This no doubt accounts for the Secretary's changing of the number in the minutes on February 15th and March 13th of 1856 from Kansas Lodge number 3 back to number 153. So gotta love the stickler presence there. Not going to take it. It wasn't good enough. We're going to do it all over again. Not just to etch out that number and add the 1-5 there, but they fixed the minutes and they reinstalled the officers. And it kind of makes you wonder, are we sticking to our guns that much in today's world? I think a lot of lodges would probably slip by that or, round that edge. And I think we could learn a lesson from the brothers of the past that really stuck to their guns so much. I know it sounds tedious. It is tedious. But there was something there. We talk about being morally correct. It wasn't done right, so they did it the right way. Well, brethren, we are up at the 9 o'clock hour. So I hope you guys are going to toast with me. If you've got yours, you can go ahead and charge it now. I know we typically do traditional toasts, but I think with the week that we have had, it's only appropriate that we do this toast to everyone that is affected by Hurricane Ida. If any of you out there have yourself or family been affected through the flood waters, the tornado up in New Jersey, any of that stuff going on right now, tonight know that we are with you and you are in our thoughts. So to all of you affected by Hurricane Ida, we cheers to you. Cheers, brother. All right. Well, I want to thank you all so much for being here with us again. We hope to see you next First Friday, and we're working on some interviews back in between. We're going to use this new platform, still learning it, but we are going to kind of change the way we do things a little bit, get a little fancier with it, but we're going to move from recorded episodes over to live episodes. Help keep me more honest. Recording, just with my busy life, I tend to put things off, and I'm calling myself out on that this year, and we're gonna get it done. We're gonna ratify those actions and correct it and get the show back on course. So we're gonna move over to live episodes, and we'll be using this platform here, so should be going off pretty good. But stick with us. Make sure you're subscribed, you follow, so you know when we're coming out with those. And we will see you guys all soon. Stay safe out there. Take care. We'll see you next time.